What's up guys, welcome back to another RCX build video. We're nearing the end of completing the engine, so there's a couple of steps we need to do. If you follow my Instagram, you will see that I have received the gaskets for it. Kind of disappointed in the delivery of the gaskets, but that's how it goes if you order from the wrong website. But before we can assemble the engine, there's a couple of steps we still need to do, and that is flattening the areas that are in contact with the gaskets. The parts that I'm talking about is the crankshaft housing. Here comes a gasket, and then the first half of the cylinder head fits in here, and that needs to be very square. Also, where the two cylinder heads meet, they need to be perfectly flat to get a nice seal. And if you've seen the other videos, you know that there's a little bit of wobble in those two. So what we're gonna do, I have a piece of glass right here and a cardboard sheet to stiffen it up, and I got 3 pieces of sandpaper, 500 grit, 1000 grit and 2000 grit. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wet sand the surfaces of the parts that they are nice and flat and nice and clean, so the gaskets will fit nice and flush and we're getting a better seal like that. Wet sanding means we're gonna need water, we're gonna need sandpaper, piece of glass. A mirror is better. If you have a mirror that is curved, you will get a distorted image, and then you know your piece isn't flat. But I got a piece of glass that's also good enough. So let's get started. So here's my piece of glass. I'm just gonna lay the sandpaper on there. I'm just gonna tape it to the piece of glass that it stays in place. Make sure it's perfectly flat. Okay, that is on there. I'm gonna start with the crankshaft housing. As you can see, the surface is very dirty. I'm gonna do all the parts with 500 grit sandpaper. And yeah, let's just start and see how it goes. So this is a wet sand. So what we're gonna do is make our piece wet, our sandpaper. For the first step, I'm just gonna put it on there, maybe get the piece all wet, and then just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it around, quarter of a turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's check the surface. As we can see, this part is shinier than this part. This means that this was higher than this. So it's a good thing that we are doing this, so we can get a nice and even surface. Now, to keep our glass clean, I'm just every time do 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so. So then I get a full rotation, and then I'm just gonna clean off this, do it again until I get a nice surface. So I'm just gonna continue doing this and give you a result. Clean it off again. It is getting there, but I feel like one more pass should do it. Okay, let's check it out. It's much better now, but still this part looks a little bit higher, and also here it's a little bit higher. But on the touch, it's nice and smooth, so no problems there. This should be good, but of course I'm gonna take this much further than I need to, so I'm just going to continue again. Make it wet. This looks much more better. As you can see, it's smoothed out, very perfect. Maybe here still a nick, but that will come out in the other grids. But yeah, I'm happy about that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go over all the parts, switch off the cameras, go over all the parts and get back to you when it's all done. Let's get some shots. This is the head of the cylinder, this is the inlet, and this is the bottom half of the cylinder. So I will see you guys when I'm done and get to the next grid. So I did the first pass with the 500 grit sandpaper, and these are the results that I got. The crankshaft housing, as you can see, is pretty much perfect. Maybe the 1000 and 2000 grit won't be necessary, but still gonna do it just because I want to. Then the inlet, as you can see, also very beautiful, a nice shine to it, even surface. But now comes the most crucial parts. This is the cylinder housing, and there is a problem with it. As you can see right here, there's a little bit of discoloration. This means that there is a indentation in that side of the cylinder, and that means I have to go really deep, and with the 500 grit sandpaper it's a very long job. I got it almost halfway. As you can see, it's almost halfway. Don't know when you're gonna see it. As you can see, I'm almost halfway there to getting a clean surface all around. It's just perfect. Even here where the cylinder gasket is, it's good, not perfect, but it's good enough. So that is good for me. Now let's look at the cylinder head. Also with this one, there's a problem where the gasket is of the cylinder head is lower than the outside border of the cylinder head. This means if I sand too much, the gasket won't seal, and yeah, that's not good. I don't know how I can resolve this. Maybe with a small piece of glass, but where the gasket sits on the bottom side of the cylinder is clean enough. So I'm gonna roll with it. It's not perfect, but maybe if I upgrade to a bigger cylinder, I'm gonna do this perfect. But yeah, it's just how it's gonna be right now. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on an old cylinder. It's good enough what it needs to be, and yeah. I'm just gonna finish off with the 1000 and 2000 grit sandpaper to get a nice even shine. Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you with that footage. I'm just gonna do it off camera. And when we return, the parts will all be as flat as they can be. So yeah, I'm just gonna get to work and grind this out. Okay, we are back, and as you can see, the parts look pretty nice, all nice and clean. If we put them together, look at that. That is purely amazing. So this is the 6th episode of the RCX build, and I feel like we're only taking apart stuff and cleaning it. So it's time to put some stuff together. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna assemble the crankshaft and the crankshaft housing. It has to be done. We need to put some stuff together. I want it. I can't wait. There's a lot of parts in my house right now scattered around, pistons, variators, cylinder heads, everything, and I just want to get something together that we accomplished at least something in this build. Let's just get started and just do it. So I got the gaskets, I got the crankshaft gasket and the O-rings from motorkit.com. So if you're looking for parts, go to their website. They're pretty good. I ordered them on a Saturday and got it on a Wednesday. So if you are looking for parts, go hit them up and you will be golden. So what we first need to do is put in the crankshaft seals into the housings. Yeah, let's just get on with it. So the one with the smallest ring goes on the side with the smallest bearing. So I'm just gonna take some 2-stroke oil and then put a little dab on here. Maybe also put a little dab in the crankshaft housing. Just gonna press it in. I got this tube that is the same size of the bearings, so then I can push it in. And that looks good enough. So now you may be wondering, where is the crankshaft? And the crankshaft is in the freezer because I want crankshaft to shrink, and I'm gonna heat up the housings so they expand, so the bearings go in fairly easy. So let's just do that. Oh, what I'm first gonna do is I'm gonna oil up the gasket. Just put oil all over it. Okay, let's put that to the side. And then just do the big step, putting in the crankshaft. I'm gonna do the big bearing first because there's a little lip right here. So when I put in the gasket, it will sit nicely. I'm gonna put in the bolts just to line it up with the holes. That's cold. Doesn't want to go in. Come on, just pop in. Oh my god, that was intense. I finally got it together. This was one of the hardest jobs that I ever needed to do because I don't have any tools right here. I don't have a press right here, don't have any other tools than what you see right here. I only got a heat gun, oil, hammer, and the biggest problem that I faced was I couldn't get it hot enough. I heated it up about 300 degrees and it still wasn't hot enough, or the crankshaft wasn't cold enough. I just couldn't get it on the usual way that I wanted to do. Just put the one half on, then slip on the gasket, put the bolts in, heat up the other side and just slide it on. That didn't work because the bearings are so tight in there. I showed you my attempt fails so you can learn from them. And I got it together. Just heated up one side very hot until I could get those two bolts that are in line with the crankshaft and the bearing, and then just tighten them up little by little, and the crankshaft housing moved, and it slipped on pretty good. It's still a little bit stiff, but it's together now and that's good. I still need to trim off pieces of the gasket. I don't want them there, like here on the inlet port. I don't want that, but before I can do that, I want the housing to be attached permanently, so that means putting this on and putting this on. So I'm now gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take out all the bolts again. So now this goes on like this. Here it is, all assembled. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna trim away these pieces of gasket because I don't want them in there. So let's get a tool for that. So I got a knife with the cutting side going this. I'm just gonna trim it off. That looks good. I'll get this side. That's good enough for me. crankshaft still moves freely. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Okay, next step that I could do, let's get this piece on. This goes on like this. I'm gonna use some blue Loctite. It's looking good. Next up, I'm gonna do the inlet and the valve, whatever you want to call it. Let's get our gaskets. Let's see how this goes in, like this. So this gasket needs to come first. This goes here. And that's on there. That is big progress. It looks amazing. It's starting to be an engine again, getting ready to work. So this is how far I can go because I didn't do the piston yet. I still need to clean up this shield that goes right here. Still need the right tool to tighten the bolts on the crankshaft. But yeah, it looks solid, it feels solid. It's still a little bit stiff, but I feel like when the engine turns over and the vibrations take over, the engine will fix itself. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter and on Instagram, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this.